like I would tell anybody that's starting up a business, they want to get into Amazon, man, you just got to be ready to spend.
Welcome to the eCommerce Show podcast. I am your host, Andrew Maff, owner and founder of BlueTuskr. From groundbreaking industry updates to success stories and strategies, get to know the ins and outs of the e-commerce industry from top leaders in the space. Let's get into it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the eCommerce Show. And as usual, I'm your host, Andrew Maff. And today I'm joined by the amazing Andrew Vogenthaler, who is the founder, CEO over at No Nasty. Andy, how you doing, buddy? Ready for a good show?
Doing great. Glad to be here, Andrew. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you on the show. Before we jump into anything, for those of you that are just listening, I highly recommend you check out the video on YouTube because, Andy, your background is awesome. So tell me, where are you at right now? What were you saying?
I'm actually in Truckee right now, near Lake Tahoe. We've got a bunch of retail stores in the area, and so we just launched 52 stores up in this area. So I was checking them out personally and making sure everything's looking great for our products.
That's awesome. This background's fantastic. It's like giving me feels like you're in you even got like a whiskey barrel, kind of wine barrel behind you. Like, this is great. I love this. This is fantastic. No notes. Let's start this off. I always kind of do it relatively stereotypically. I'm just going to give you the floor. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started with No Nasty, where you're at, where you're going. We'll go from there, okay?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. So, long time product development guy, and serial entrepreneur. So I worked with some amazing brands like General Motors, Nabisco, Mott's, DuPont Teflon. And my job, which was such a cool thing to do, was leverage the trademarks to come up with new products. For example, Nabisco, Oreos, cookies and cream back in the day. I mean, it seems like a natural thing. It is a natural thing. It was, a $40 million deal like that. So GM, Nabisco, Hang 10. I was vice president of worldwide licensing for Hang 10. Totally into product development. Went into a colleague of mine had started an insurance business, which I didn't really want to do much with at first, but she convinced me. And then I ended up building that company up. We sold it to AIG and on and on. I'm a longtime endurance athlete as well, runner, marathons, Ironman, all that stuff. And, in the course of all of that, I created another company that's kind of cooking today. It's called Race Guards, like lifeguards. And we do in-race medical for triathlons, marathons, and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool where you bring in teams of endurance athletes that are also medical professionals, right? And they, as I got older, as I was not competing like I was, but I still wanted to be involved. I saw a lot of things happen out on the course. I even saw some people die, on a triathlon I was training for Ironman. And it got me thinking about, here's a better way to, have people out on the course, keeping an eye out for people that need things along the way. So we grew that, still going on today. COVID kind of killed a lot of the momentum with that, but it was one of those things where, going on 14 years now, we've served millions of people and all that. So with that, been around all sorts of stink, and my kids play sports and all. There was that aha moment for No Nasty where my co-founder Jürgen was up in that early morning yoga class. I'm kind of in the back, and this dude comes rolling in. He comes rolling in, flops his mat down. And the room starts heating up, and there was just the stench that just came out of this guy, right? And you just can't believe it. So Jürgen actually said something to him in the locker room, and then it just got me thinking. My product development side of things initially was like, hey, maybe we could do a laundry detergent that lifts and removes all the gross odors out of your activewear. And we had a sponsor, honestly, for our Race Guards uniforms that had a formula that did just that. So I said, what about, a play on namaste? You could do No Nasty for better namaste kind of thing, right? So honestly, Andrew, we did focus groups. We actually had a website built for consumer focus groups that was really yogi centric, right? It was like all the bottles looked like swell bottles and, charcoal and lavender and sage and all that. And what we found,
classics.
From that research, what was so interesting, Andrew, was that, hey, all the yogis said, yeah, we want a laundry detergent, that's going to remove all the gunk and take care of our Lulus and Vioris and all that stuff, right? But they said, we do other stuff. And we got kids that play soccer and lacrosse and they stink and all that. What about an odor spray? What about this? And then you got thinking about it. It's got, hey, if you've got an active lifestyle, lots of things get nasty and gross. And so off we went, and that's kind of how the whole thing kind of started to grow. And then with our branding, the way we have it, the colors of our bottles, and really focused in on developing eco-friendly products that are actually really effective, because there's a lot of eco-friendly products that just don't work. So
Yeah.
kind of a long way around the block about how we kind of started No Nasty, but I tell you, we're cooking now, and it's super, super exciting.
Nice. So I was gonna ask you, like, how do you kind of paint the picture of that differentiation? Because as you mentioned, like, there's eco-friendly stuff out there. There's stuff out there that claims to just help reduce the smells, whether it's a laundry detergent or spray or anything like that. So how do
Yeah.
you kind of position it to be that differentiator? Is it for like the active group, or is it something else?
Yeah, I mean, I would like, to characterize No Nasty as an active lifestyle brand
Hmm.
that removes all the nasty stuff that comes along with it, odors, bacteria, gunk, all that stuff. So we look at it like, active people and their pets. If you're active and you're out there, you probably have a dog, you're active with them. So you want to have really, really good ingredients that actually are effective for your stuff, that keeps your expensive gear looking great, smelling great. And that goes, with your pets, from sweat to pet kind of thing, is like,
Hmm.
say, with No Nasty. So the ingredients are really, really important to us. One of the things about our laundry detergent in particular, that kind of our core product, is we have a specific enzyme in our formulation that's designed to eliminate bacteria caused by sweat. There's a lot of enzymes out there, right? But this one is designed specifically to target odors caused by sweat. That is kind of the thing that we used to kind of get things going, and it's been very, very good. EWG certified as well, which is a green certification, which is a total pain in the ass to get. So
Yeah.
we ended up getting that, and that's not. And even when you think about it, like our core products, most of them are liquid of some sort. Odor spray, pet shampoo, odor stain and laundry detergent. But we have a car seat protector that I use almost every day. You go for a run, you come back, and you're all sweaty, gross. We've got
That's
this.
genius.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like neoprene. It flops over your headrest. You just get in. You don't have to worry about it. Get done, roll it back up, chuck it in the back when you're done, and off you go.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that one out. I my car. It's I go to the gym every morning, and when I come home, it's just like, oh, my wife is like not going anywhere in my car unless I've cleaned it out.
Yeah,
That's genius. Makes a lot of sense. So you mentioned you're outside. You're in Tahoe right now. So
yeah.
obviously you're in an area where a lot of active people in that area. So it makes sense you're doing a lot of retail there. I know you have your own website. I know you're on Amazon. Where else are you selling right now?
Yeah. So the Army exchanges is another big one for us. So all over the world,
Okay.
on Army Air Force exchanges is huge, and we're really going to ramp up our e-commerce. That's one thing we. I don't know if you've heard of the Raindrop Agency. Are you familiar with them, Andrew, at
Mm-hmm.
all?
Yep.
Yeah. So Raindrop, they launched Dr. Squatch, Manscaped,
Yeah.
Food Blast, all that stuff. So that we've engaged with them. They're amazing. We've got such really fun concepts that are in the works right now. So we're hoping to spin e-commerce up second half of the year. We're really excited about that. I mean, it's one of those things where retail has its own challenges, right? It's not easy.
Oh yeah.
There's so many things about it, Andrew, that I never really would have thought about it. Thinking about my background, right? Like I was on the other side of it. I was licensing. I didn't have to worry about manufacturing. And
Yeah.
now on this side of it, there's so much to it, and there's so much you have to be aware of. And if we could sell more through our website all the time, all day long, that would be fantastic. But
Yeah.
importantly for No Nasty, I want to get it in the hands of everybody that's active out there, because they'll appreciate it, right?
Oh yeah. Are you thinking of pushing the subscription side? I
Yes.
think with your product line, that would probably be the case.
Yes. And it's interesting, like with our Amazon has grown. We've kind of hit we've been above plan the last 3 months, knock on wood, right? It's going
Yeah,
into the
really.
next quarter. But the subscription rate's going up exponentially. Like it's great. Like we see this, so that people are using it and they're buying it again, and they want to just keep get some discounts by having that subscription, and they hang in there. Like it's like 90 some percent over 90 days. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. It's fantastic. It
Yeah.
makes it makes a lot of sense. I love that you went with Raindrop. I mean, that's a big commitment. I'm pretty familiar with some of their stuff, so I know that that's a big jump. But I think that one thing a lot of brand owners don't think about, especially when they're going retail, is how important having stuff like that is to keep
Yeah,
that sell through in retail. Otherwise, the retailers don't buy from you again. So there's
exactly.
still that digital presence you got to have to improve the retail side. What's
Yeah,
the thought with that content? Social ads, I imagine.
yeah, definitely. Yep,
Yeah. Are you doing
yep.
any like traditional TV, streaming,
No,
anything
no,
along those lines?
we talked about it. Like maybe, like I mean, we're open to it. I think it would lend itself really, really well to it. The way the concepts are kind of set up right
Yeah.
now. I think, first things first, right? You kind of get things kind of going, and it gives you an opportunity to test on the digital because if something doesn't fall right, I mean, that is a big commitment that we have,
Yeah.
right? So if you need to shift gears a little bit, I think it gives us that opportunity until you hit it. I think it's going to be really fun. I'm
Oh yeah.
excited.
Are you? I imagine you're trying to push more people to the website, right? More so than
Yes,
Amazon. That
yes,
makes sense. I
yeah.
saw. So you've got you have Buy with Prime on your site. How's that going for you?
It's good. It's interesting, right? Like you think it works fine. Like it works fine. I mean, we get I would probably say 50%, 40% maybe the people that come to our website end up going that way.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't surprise me.
Is your e-commerce business experiencing falling revenue? BlueTuskr has helped many brands like yours excel. Unlike other marketing partners, BlueTuskr leverages a team of specialists to ensure every strategy is created and executed toward your business growth. As an extension of your marketing team, BlueTuskr prides itself on helping to fill in the gaps and develop strong omni-channel strategies to diversify your business from the rest. Ready to scale your marketing initiatives? Visit their website, BlueTuskr.com. That's BlueTuskr.com.
People just like to get stuff faster. And the other thing too, one of my favorite things to do is ask my wife why she's doing what she does when she shops, because she has no idea what I do. And so I like get like free market research. And so she was actually using a website the other day, and she was like exploring like whether she's using Buy the Prime, whether she's using this or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, I usually will lean towards going on Amazon, even if the price is effectively the same, or even if it's a little bit more, because not only can I get it next day or 2 days, but I know it's going to come.
Yes.
Because other shipping, it's like, it's going to be 4 or 5 days, and then it could be like it says Tuesday, and then it doesn't come till Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one of the things I was thinking, because I saw that, I think what would be really interesting is, since you've got that content, like their type of stuff, Raindrop does awesome stuff that works really well on TV also. You can now, since you've got Buy with Prime, I would use that Amazon DSP. They
Yeah.
let you run ads back to your website now. So
Yes.
you could do like streaming ads for people that visited your Amazon listing and just send them back to your website. Like you've got the assets for the omni-channel stuff now. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Not a lot of brands will invest in stuff like what Raindrop's doing. Them
Yeah.
and like who the other ones, Harmon Brothers are the other guys that did.
Yep.
They were the ones back. They were the ones that did. Oh, I can't remember. I think Raindrop did Purple, and they did Squatty Potty, right? Raindrop, or was that might have been Harmon? The two of them are kind of
Poopery. They did Dr. Squatch. They did Dude Wipes. They did Manscaped. They did Native, which was huge.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch. Which great. Awesome. What's the plan? What's the growth strategy? You're, as of this recording, we're pretty much at the end of Q1 now.
Yeah.
What are you thinking for the rest of 2026?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to get even more exciting for us, with all the ramp up that we're planning, right? So, it's going to get expensive, and it's going to get hopefully exciting, right? So I think for us, a really big growth year. So far, so good. Knock on wood, like I said, it's never easy. You never know what's coming at you. The things, Andrew, like the things you don't think about, like are production things, right? Or shelving issues, or slotting fees, and you need to get a new trigger sprayer, and you can't get it in the U.S., so you have to get it in China. Then you've got the delays, and you got tariffs, and you got all these things that you have to really, really think about. Like for us, like we're so lucky from the standpoint of manufacturing. Our bottle manufacturers here in California, our formulator is right in California, and our warehouse, our 3PL, is all within like 10 miles of each other. So it's really nice having that. But there's things like trigger sprayers, and there's things like caps, and there's things like we have a custom dosing cap that we developed, and that was from China. And of course, the tariffs and all these things. It's just so interesting how many things you have to be aware of, and the timing of things with production, and as you ramp up and trying to make it all line up. It's not easy.
Yeah, operations is, I don't envy anyone that's deep in operations. There's a reason that I typically don't get involved in that, because it's, especially like to your point, when you've got parts coming from all over the place and then they got to get assembled, and then are you doing 3PL, or are you going to FBA? Do you have your own warehouse? Like the amount of that stuff is just, it's so convoluted.
It is. And everybody has their hand out, right?
Oh, of course. Yes. That's the other thing. Always a lot of bills, not a lot of invoices.
Yes.
So what's been the approach so far? Like, is it from a marketing perspective, you lean in more influencer, I would think, with this, or I know you guys are pretty heavy on the social side. So has that mainly been the approach, is kind of that educational piece?
Yeah, the interesting thing, Andrew, is that we didn't really spend a lot on marketing other than getting the Amazon wheel going, right?
Yeah.
We were startups, so we didn't have tons of cash. We don't have tons of cash, so it's like one of those things where you got to show traction, you got to start getting things going. But with anybody, like I would tell anybody that's starting up a business that want to get into Amazon, man, you just got to be ready to spend, and it's like what we should have. Like, here's the one thing that I learned, like we learned as a group, and that is that we went about it, the pain threshold. We didn't spend a lot on marketing for Amazon. And it was, so we're losing money every month, right? We're losing money, We're gaining traction, but we're losing money. And you have to the learning is we should have accelerated the business faster. We should have figured out a way to spend, instead of $5,000 a month, 10, 15, 20 grand a month, to accelerate the business, to get you out of this, paper cut kind of, process that we were going through. It was so brutal. And so now we're starting to see the momentum going, and it's super exciting to see that. But man, we lost a lot of cash that way. It was tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you brought that up. It's such a common problem, and it's so hard from us, with us being in the agency space. Sometimes it's tough to like convey that to brands, because it's like you're kind of, especially as a marketing agency, you're biased, because of course you're going to say like, I want to spend more and blah blah. But a lot of times the reality is, if you're spending too little, you have so little data coming in at such a slow clip that you end up spending more money and just driving yourself crazy with like management fees and trying to fix this and fix that, because you think that those little incremental improvements are going to do it. But at the end of the day, if you actually like doubled or tripled or quadrupled your spend and really ramped stuff up, and your overhead kind of maintains, that's where you then start to see like, oh, okay, this is where that growth happens.
Exactly right. 100% on that one. And the other thing that was interesting that I didn't, Amazon's its own thing, as we know, right? Like, so when it comes to like doing ads or doing video, which video is super, super important on Amazon, right? That it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, try a bunch of stuff. Use the third-party services that you can bang out a clip for $200 or something, and do a few of those and see which one hits. And if none of them hit, well, you keep going. But it's way better than spending like, hey, okay, $5,000, whatever. We'll have somebody, professional, like do this or whatever. And it may not hit at all. So you just got to wing it. Go for it. See what happens.
Plus, a lot of times you find the video that does the best is always like the cheapest one that you did.
Yes.
It's just like, of course this would resonate and nothing else would.
Yeah.
The other thing too, like especially with a brand like yours, like, you've got that added benefit, like you mentioned, that's been growing so well, is like the subscribe and save. Like, not every brand has that option, but when you've got a consumable, or you have anything where it's something that people come back and purchase at least several times a year or something like that, way too many brands don't factor in their customer acquisition costs, especially when they're just on Amazon, because they don't have that data, because Amazon doesn't share it. And so you're just kind of flying blind. But when you have your own website, then it's all of a sudden like, okay, this, on average, I think you mentioned like 90% of them stay with you for 90 days. Like, okay, well, if they're purchasing every month, then that means I really could actually aim to have a ROAS of like a 1, give up that first order and make money on the next 2 or 3. So It's
100%.
those things where Amazon actually slows your growth because you don't have eyes on that information.
Yes.
So that's why I totally agree with that approach. I love that you guys are doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exciting. It's, hey, I'm getting up there now, and it's like, you get tired after a bit. It's like one of those things. It's like, why do I keep doing this to myself? But I don't think I have it any other way.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Andy, this was great. I really appreciate having you on the show. I would love to, let me give you the floor. Tell everyone where they can find out more about you and, of course, more about No Nasty.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can find me, pretty much anywhere. LinkedIn, any of those places, nonasty.com, of course, go visit us, check us out. We're going to be growing into a lot of retail stores, so keep an eye out for that. But, one of the things we launched just recently, as I mentioned early on, was the pet products. Like, pet products is an easy thing to for people to understand, and they want to spend on their pet products. And it's been one of those really interesting things for us to accelerate and extend into our product line, which normally you would say, hey, sell the stuff that you got, don't extend too far. But for us, that is it. So, keep an eye out on, of course, Amazon, nonasty.com, pet stores, probably all sorts of mom and pops across the country, all that stuff. So look me up, find me. You get to talk anytime. So thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, Andrew.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, everyone listening, go check it out. I'm sure with the pet stuff too, you'll be on Chewy soon enough.
Yes.
Andy, thanks so much for being on the show. Everyone who tuned in, thank you as well. Please make sure you do the usual thing, rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff on whichever podcast platform you prefer, or head over to the ecomshow.com to check out all of our previous episodes. But as usual, thank you all for joining us. See you next time. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to the eCom Show. Head over to ecomshow.com to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on the BlueTuskr YouTube channel. The eCom Show is brought to you by BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company specifically for e-commerce sellers looking to accelerate their growth. Go to BlueTuskr.com now for more information. Make sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode of the eCom Show.